Yay! Yo, 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 it's Ugly Truck Driver. How the flock are you? Well, I haven't talked too much about this subject. Been watching the news, both the liberal media as well as the conservative media. A lot of stuff up on the internet. And it concerns the current situation in Israel and the ongoing attacks by Hamas out of Gaza. But see, it's a bigger picture than just a bunch of camel jockeys down there in Gaza lobbing a bunch of missiles into Israel. Israel was constituted as a country in 1946 at the end of the Second World War. It's been fighting for that piece of dirt ever since, to bring their Jewish friends, families, and loved ones from countries like Germany, where Hitler tried to wipe them all out, or Russia, a bunch of other countries. Israel wanted all their Jews home. Israel was their home. And any half-baked Christian or Jew, if you look in the Bible, Old Testament or New, that is the promised land by God for the Jews, all 12 tribes and all the rest of that good stuff. And I'm not going to get into the historical meanings of it because I truly don't have time. But our current administration in Washington, D.C., maybe a few previous ones, seems to have been less than supportive of Israel in their bid for peace, tranquility, quiet, border security. Oh, now there's a good one to talk about, border security. And these individuals, I don't care if you want to call them Hamas, Al-Qaeda, any other freaking terrorist organizational name you can think of, is out to just wipe the Jews in Israel off the face of the earth. Even Hamas refuses to recognize the right for Israel or Jews to even exist. That's genocide. But you see, if you go to New York City to the United Nations, okay, they have this Human Rights Council that makes statements about who's doing what and everything else. You know, human rights are being violated. And they're always passing these edicts down that Israel is a human rights violator. And I find it funny because 2/3 of the people that are on that Human Rights Council are countries like Russia, China, North Korea, a whole bunch of other ones that are no better than little tin Hitler terrorist organizations themselves. And they want to pick on Israel. In a normal day in Israel, if you're a Jew or a Christian or what they call a Palestinian, you can pretty much move around the city or the country without fear of retribution. It's just the way the people in Israel are. They're looking for peace. They've given up land for peace, and it's still blown up in their faces, and they've been lied to and attacked. And it doesn't matter if it's the Gaza Strip, it doesn't matter if it's Jordan, if it's Syria, Lebanon. Israel's been putting up with this garbage for years and years, being attacked by these different political types. And I'm kind of in agreement with Netanyahu. You're going to attack us, we're going to come back, we're going to kick your butt. I foresee a time when the Jews in Israel are finally going to get fed up with all these different countries with their terrorist organizations that they support against Israel, that Israel is going to come out and start kicking butt, taking names, and making the land below those airplanes flat and glow in the dark. We've had 2 secretaries of states that I can think of in the last, 8 years? They could not find their own backside with both hands in their back pocket, don't understand world politics, don't understand that these Muslim terrorists, these Palestinians, whatever you want to call them, will say anything to do a get by, lie to your face, and then turn around and continue to try and wipe out Israel. They want to wipe Jews off the face of the earth, exactly like Hitler and Stalin and a few others have tried to do. And yet, the United Nations is as blind as a bat. And like I say, our current administration has really been less than forthright, less than supportive of Israel. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I make no bones about it. The United States needs to have a wake-up call. The current administration in the White House has no clue about world politics. The people he's hired to go out and do his speaking for him are less than admirable, basically clueless, and it's ticking the Jews off. Netanyahu is about right here with Obama and his administration. Witness when nobody would do anything about the Iran situation a few years back when they were making these atomic bomb manufacturing sites. It was the Jews that went in there and blew the plants up. Nobody else had the guts to do it. Why? It's called self-preservation. I make no apology for being pro-Israel, for being pro-Jew. None. The problem is we got a bunch of lame brains here in America today that have no clue what's going on over there, don't want to know, and can care less as long as they get their Obama phone and their freebies and their 47% and all the rest of that. Yeah. America has allies. And here lately, America, this current administration, has been less than forthright or supportive of these allies. And I will example Britain, France, Germany, Israel, that we've been allied with since the Second World War. Israel's sitting there all by its little lonesome with these terrorist organizations surrounding them from Gaza and Egypt in the south, up through Saudi Arabia, up through Jordan, up through Syria, all the way up and around into Lebanon. And all these people are just out to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. And I find it funny because the king of Jordan, I forget when this was, a year or two back, happened to sit there and say, Palestinians don't really exist. They're actually Jordanians and Syrians. And at the end of the Second World War, they wanted a piece of land for themselves and thought they were going to get what Israel got given to them by the United Nations back then and has been fighting for ever since. But see, that's the homeland, the motherland of the Jews. Go look it up in the Old Testament. And as far as these Muslim types, Muhammad and Islam didn't come into existence until 800 years after the death of Christ. It's a cult organization. And everybody's afraid of them. I got a newsflash for you. It's time to quit being afraid of them and either put them in their place or wipe them the hell off the face of the earth. just like these geniuses surrounding Israel, trying to bomb them and rocket them to death. And of course, the liberal news media, they whine and they cry and they bitch. Oh, the Jews are wiping out these people. They killed 200 of them. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, as they launch their missiles and rockets from schools and hospitals and people's houses and everything else into Israel. And if Israel retaliates and or misses and kills a few of theirs, that makes the papers. It's what I call yellow journalism by the liberal news media today. I am so tired of people putting down the Jews in Israel for wanting to keep their land, which was given to them over 5,000 years ago by God Almighty. I'd like to see them go in there and just totally go on the warpath and just take on all comers and put them in their place. But I'd also like to see, and these idiots in Washington, D.C., those 535 idiots on Capitol Hill, the two in the freaking White House, send some aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers to sit off the coast of Israel and say, you need a few of our planes, you need a few of our cannons, a few of our rockets. Just give us a call. We'll come in and back you up. But see, this current administration has no balls and no backbone. Witness Afghanistan, witness Iraq, shed blood by American troops, ISIS now running that whole area that we were there for 12 years for because the idiots that we left in charge there, which was their people, didn't want to sign a stay-behind agreement to try and help them. This is how screwed up the American government is. We've still got troops in Korea, Germany, a few other countries. Small contingents. But it's enough to let those that are around them know that if you mess with this country, America is here and America's going to do something. Well, unless it's like Libya and Benghazi. Don't even get me on that. But to the Jews in Israel, I stand behind you as one American. I stand behind you as a Vietnam vet. I stand behind you as a person that believes in what we have in America is called the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights. You have a right to exist. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to kill those that would wipe you off the face of the earth. I make no bones about it. Oh, and by the way, just for lack of disclosure, in my life I've been married to two women of Jewish heritage, not practicing Hebrews, mind you, but Jewish heritage. I have an aunt that married a Jew. He was in the Navy. We didn't find out until after his death. He worked for the CIA and used to go into Israel all the time to help that country back in the 50s and the 60s. Name will not come out public for security reasons. America needs a wake-up call, folks. The American news media needs a wake-up call. The idiots in the United Nations, the idiots in Washington, D.C., the idiots in Egypt, in Gaza, in Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Jordan, Lebanon, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait need a serious wake-up call that if you mess with Israel, America's going to be there to back them. I don't give a damn what the Pentagon thinks, and you've heard me before. Once these idiots get their stars and bars and get to the Pentagon, they're nothing more than politicians in a monkey suit. Less than 20% of the current Congress in the United States have any military or battle experience. Go look it up. The last couple presidents I can think of, let's see, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, have absolutely no military experience, never had their backside shot at, haven't got a clue, don't want one. And yet we're allowing these idiots to run our country, run our world politics, and everything else. And they're trashing the country of Israel. They're just, hi, how are you? What's happening? God help me if I was ever president of the United States. There'd be a whole bunch of countries that sat there and said, nah, you don't want to fuck with America. Brock's sitting in the White House. You want to talk about signing an executive order? How about like the Toby Keith song, American Soldier? I'm going to put a boot in your ass. Oh, Congress wouldn't know what to do with that, would they? No, because they've never been shot at. They've never had somebody try and stick them with a bayonet. The more I think about it, anybody that gets elected to high office in the American government anymore, along with the friggin' corrupt bureaucracies, should have military experience, military background, preferably combat experience, and then maybe we will get our America back. And that America is the America that would sit there and sit in the Mediterranean right off the shores of Israel and say, we're just having a pizza party on deck here, come on out. Somebody sends a missile up. Yeah, we got some F-18s handy, we'll send them over to you. And let some of these camel jockeys sit there and take a pock shot at some of our aircraft or our ships. I wish the battleship New Jersey was still commissioned. It's sitting right around the corner from me here in Camden, New Jersey with its 18-inch guns. Send that son of a bitch over there. They can throw a 1.5 ton, 2-ton shell 20 plus miles, and it's accurate to less than 100 yards. Besides the other neat things that we have, submarines with missiles on them, things like that. Because you see, all these dorkmeisters sitting there in the Middle East that want to wipe out Israel would get a hint like, you know what, maybe we ought to pull our horns back in. But see, you got people like John Kerry, the former Hillary Clinton, a whole bunch of the rest of these American politicians that could not find their own backside with both hands in their back pocket, ain't got a clue. Reminding you, John Kerry in 1971 lied to the Congress about Vietnam vets being baby killers and all the rest of that. Ask the Swift vote veterans that served with him. He lied then. He's lying now. Just like this son of a bitch that comes from Chicago that sits in a White House. And as far as the rest of the 535 geniuses up there on Capitol Hill, there are days I wonder how you can look in the mirror and shave yourself. Oh, I forget. You're rich enough. You can sit there and go to the Capitol, sit in a chair and have somebody run your razor over your chin so you don't even have to face your own reality. Israel, this is one old beat up, tired, worn out Vietnam vet. I am no hero. Anybody wants to know, I was a track mechanic in Vietnam. Had the living P1 and dog poop scared out of me. And I was out in the field with the tracks 28 days a month. I wasn't sitting in base camp. But I'm on your side. I believe in you. And that big golden dome sitting up there, nah, it don't belong to the Muslims. It belongs to the Jews. My opinion. And I really don't give a flying fig what Muslims think with their Sharia law and their invented religion 800 years after the death of Christ. Anyhow, it's just a truck driver's opinion. Hello, Israel. I love you. There are days I wish I was young enough I could come over there and live with you. Give me one of them Tommy guns you got. I'll be glad to stand on a border somewhere. I'll give up my life for you because I believe in you. Truck driver's opinion, you understand.